I want to say good evening to everyone. First of all, I would like to start by congratulating our winners. It's the Turkish-Lithuanian team, Cypriot, I believe, who actually won by quite a margin. So well done, congratulations. Now, I don't know if any of you have some sort of suspicion about tonight's theme, but I have picked a number of boards. Some of them I've selected because they are highly unbalanced. Because one area where there are so many imps to gain is high-level decisions. So I have decided to make this the theme of the evening. And I hope that you all have some good experiences from this match and remember the boards, but I will try to take a look, and I will start by looking at board number 2. So the reason I picked this board is because, first of all, I very much agree with the one spade opening, especially when you're favorable in this vulnerability. It's important to always get a chance to show your suits. And here you could easily have a good save. So now West bid 4 diamonds, a splinter, upgrading it to a game forcing hand, which I also agree with, because you have 4 card support, a singleton, a very good heart suit, and you have an ace doubleton of clubs. So this is a game forcing hand, even opposite a minimum opening. So here, I thought that North made a very brave bid, being vulnerable against not Vera Peterson in North, as you can see here, because she decided to bid for no trump. And one of the general rules in high-level auctions is the more unbalanced we are, the more we bid. There are some golden rules, and this is one of them. Every time you're in doubt, most people are always worried that if they bid, it will go wrong, they will be doubled or something. But so we all have a tendency to be too conservative. But actually, we should be more worried about not bidding enough, because in general, we tend to be a little bit passive. So my golden rule to you is that every time you're in doubt, then bid once more. So here, Vera Peterson, she bid for no trump, and South happily bid 5 diamonds. And now West again did very well by bidding 5 hearts. And the reason that I like the 5 heart bid is because in case North-South are going to bid again, bid at the 6th level, then she's helping her partner with where her values are. So now it went past 5 spades, which we've already committed to, and now South doubled, which is not odd at all. The double is very understandable. However, because she has such good defense. However, opposite a partner who has already bid for no trump vulnerable, you hold the 2 major suit aces. Your partner must, in this situation, have at least 6-5 as here. So when you have both aces, even if your partner has void in one suit and a doubleton in the other suit, then you can still pitch both of your cards on the 2 major suit aces. Usually, I say that if your values are in your partner's, in your opponent's suit, then you should not bid. Then you should be more inclined to double. However, here we have such a strong hand because we have 5 diamonds, 5 card diamond support works even opposite almost ace 6th, but usually she should have a better suit to bid here. We have a singleton club, which is also a great card when we have 5 card trumps. So always when in doubt, bid again. Also here, the advantage is that even if South had bid 6 spades, then East-West, with the way they've been bidding, might even bid again. They might save in 6 spades or 6 hearts even. And I thought that would have been correct here because seeing only their hands. So if you bid again, it's not, even though the contract might not make, it might encourage your opponents to bid again, which means that instead of getting 300, then maybe you suddenly get 500 at least. So when you bid, it's not only about which contract can actually make, it's just as much about the psychology in it. And one of my favorite tips is that if you want to bid again, do it quickly and convincingly, because they will be afraid to double you, okay? Just practice your poker face. Now it's on real bridge, but still, you know, you can see each other. Practice your poker face, bid very convincingly, have faith in yourself, and then the opponents will believe you. So always, when in doubt, bid again. Now, something else here, because we saw that West introduced her hearts by bidding 5 hearts. But even East, in this auction, in East could actually even have bid 5 clubs over 4 no trump to already now introduce I have wasted club values in their minors. Of course, there's also the risk that you tell the opponents, of course. But here, the likelihood that they're going to play in clubs is absolutely 0. So, but the better bid is by West to bid 5 hearts to show her values there. Okay, so at some of the other tables, I saw that the auction went, for example, let me see. Some people started by bidding 3 clubs, and then some bid, for example, okay, I choose this board. Here, for example, 3 clubs, I assume is some sort of a raise in spades. And now here on this auction, then North decided to bid 3 spades. I'm not sure what that is. According to, I have a question. I will answer that in 1 minute, okay? I'm not sure what that is according to the partnership agreement, because it's not clear when they bid 3 spades, to me at least, whether it should be hearts and a minor, or whether it should be both minors as it was intended here. However, I also think when you have 2 suits such as here, and you can get in at a lower level, then you should bid, consider bidding first 3 diamonds, and then you can later decide how the auction develops and see if you have a chance to bid 4 no trump showing both minors. And that's because your diamonds are longer and better than the clubs. And say your opponents already get to 5 spades and you're not going to bid again, then you really prefer a diamond lead to a club lead. So consider bidding 3 diamonds when there is room, as in here. And then also when you bid 4 no trump later, the chances are that your partner will assume you have longer diamonds and might make the better preference. Okay. I get a question. At our table, it went pass 1 diamond, pass. What would I bid now? So if the East hand opened 1 diamond, then it's either they have psyched or it's not alerted. So I cannot really answer that. It depends on what happened on the rest of the auction. Okay, I see this is Debbie Sanford. Yes, I'm trying to answer your question. Okay, 1 diamond by South, I see. Okay, so East didn't open the hand. So if South opens 1 diamond, and what I would bid with the North hand, is that what you're asking me? Okay, I see. Okay, I get it. So, well, if my partner opened 1 diamond and West passed, which looks unlikely with a 10 count with 6 hearts, but okay, then I would splinter from the North hand. Choose a major to splinter in if you play that way, if you can play that as a splinter, or make a game forcing raise in the minor if you can in diamonds, because this is a hand where you want to be in game opposite that. All right. Okay. So this was a hand where I thought that there were a lot of interesting points, and many of you did very well, I saw, on all these high level decisions. So well done by you. So the next board I want to talk about is board 5. This was also a very interesting hand. Most of you, the auction went sort of similar at several tables. Some chose to overcall 1 heart East hand. I can already suspect that some of you might have questions about whether that's a 1 heart overcall. And the answer is when you're favorable against not, like in this case, and you are unbalanced, even though your suit is bad, the style in modern bridge is actually that many would overcall. But I think most of all, it's a partnership agreement. So you should be agreeing about your style. This is important. So if you overcall one heart, you should prepare that your partner might take you seriously. So if you don't really feel like being in a 4 hearts in 1 minute, then you should not overcall. But if your partner knows your style, then we're fine. At most tables, it went something similarly to this, at least the beginning. So 1 diamond by north, pass 1 spade by south, and then a 2 heart overcall. So the 2 heart overcall is very important, especially in this vulnerability, but also for lead directing purposes. Now here, I thought that North did very well to bid 4 hearts. Game forcing, she's even too good to just bid 4 spades right away. And now East chose to double. I think personally that the double, because it's not really lead directing, what you want to do is bid directly. So if you bid 5 hearts directly, then you take away a space from the opponents, because here, when you double 4 hearts, for example, let's say that North had a void in hearts. Then she can South can choose to pass, West can pass, and now North can redouble to show a void. We don't want them to know if they have a heart void or not. We always have to try to take as much space away from the opponents. Let them not exchange too much info, because that will make it easier for them to make decisions at a higher level, whether they should be in slam or whether they should not. So here I think East should have maybe bid 5 hearts instead. However, what's important is that she did in fact bid 5 hearts later. And North again did great. I think it's the normal decision, to be honest, to bid 5 spades, even though partner shows a complete minimum by bidding 4 spades, because when North is vulnerable against not, then even if she doubles 5 hearts and it's only down 1, then she gets 100. If she can make 650, it's so much worth the risk of going down 1. Usually they will never double you in 4 spades. In 5 spades here. How would they ever do that? The chances are that they would save once again. So I think that even though the contract cannot make with the optimal defense, I think bidding 5 spades with this North hand is correct. And also you could look at the diamond position. If diamonds are 2-2, then you make it, okay? Just unlucky in this case. So bid 5 spades. Now, the reason I brought this up is because it's not only a bidding problem, it's also a defensive problem, because many bid 5 spades, but they made it because the defense is tricky. So I think that many of you have an agreement that you lead at the 5 level or higher. You lead ace for attitude and king for count. That's sort of something that we are taught. But just because people tell us that we do it, we don't necessarily know when we are supposed to use it, because when do we know if we want counter attitude? We don't always know this. You might not have the agreement, but it's something that people often do at the 5 level and above. So if you look at the West hand here, then you can see that she has to lead from ace, king, queen of hearts, which seems obvious, okay? So which heart is she going to lead? So her partner has bid 5 hearts, which means that she has to find a lead where she knows how many heart tricks you are able to cash, okay? She already has the ace and the queen, king and the queen herself. She's not interested in getting a signal for the heart suit in this case. She's interested in getting a signal from her partner telling her how many hearts does she have. So here it would be right to lead the king of hearts. If she leads the king of hearts, now then she sees dummy. Now when we look at dummy, then we see that there is only 1 heart in dummy. But if you switch one of the hearts from the south hand and puts into the north hand, so North had 2 hearts instead, then you really want to know how many hearts your partner has. So let's say that North had 2 hearts. if your partner leads the king here and you have 5 of them, then you give the count signal according to your agreements, regardless of whether you play upside down or standard carding. You have to give your partner the count when there's 2 in dummy. Here, it's clear that you don't want the suit continued. Partner can see that as well, which means that here it changes, okay? So here, instead, you should show partner suit preference, where you want the switch to come. So in this case, looking at your hand, if you have a diamond trick, you have a natural diamond trick. So it doesn't really, there is no rush. So what you really want is a club shift. So what you should play is your lowest heart and hope that partner can read it. So that's exactly what East did. Well done. And now West, looking at this, now found the switch to. This meant that North-South could no longer make their contract, okay? And this was the only way to defeat 5 spades, because if you play back another heart, or if you switch to a trump even, then you have time to set up the diamonds to pitch 1 club. And if you pitch a club, then you only give up a diamond trick and the ace of hearts, or the king of hearts, which means that you make your contract. So from my perspective, this was well done all around. And we also saw an example of when we should use a king for a count signal from partner, and when we should play the ace to try to get attitude. For example, let's say that we have ace 4th of hearts, and hearts is actually partner suit. Sorry, ace king 4th maybe, or something. Then we usually lead the ace because we need to know what to do. Or even if we've been supported, we only have 1. The ace is usually something you lead even if you don't have the king. So the king usually promises the ace here at the 5 level. You should assume that it does and give the count signal. All right. We continue on. The next board is board number 8. This board I brought up because this is an example of a board where we have a massive, massive double fit. And usually when we have a double fit, sometimes people can even east-west and east-west and north-south can make slam in each their direction. So with double fits, if we know that we have a double fit with partner, the same applies as when we are extremely unbalanced. If you're in doubt, bid again, because odds are that you don't have a lot of defense in your suits, and that you'll have very few losers in the other suits. So very, very important. So here, this hand, many of you chose to open the West hand with either a 2 diamonds multi or weak 2 spades, or as here with 1 spade. So some people don't like to open multi because when they have a 4-card suit in the major, showing on the same with a weak 2. Sometimes I think it's okay. If you have a very good suit and you like to get in, get some action, don't matter. It doesn't matter that you have a 4-card suit on the side. You should just be prepared to might end up in the wrong contract and apologize to your partner. But rules are meant to be broken. Don't forget that, okay? We can't always sit there a bit so boring. So here, West actually decided to open 1 spade, which I actually think has some merit to it, because you do have a very good 6-4, and you're not quite sure if you will get into the auction later. Let's say that North opens 1 no trump, South bids 3 no trump, and then you're sitting there praying for partner to find a spade lead that is never ever going to come. So if you are in doubt, open those hands, at least when you have a good rebid. This hand, the West hand here, is actually worth more than many 4-3-3 hands with 12 high card points. Okay, very balanced hands should always be downgraded. Unbalanced hands should be upgraded. The problem is that we're always taught to count high card points. Shape counts more than points. Okay, shape counts more than points. You have to actually rethink this. when you now, especially because all of you are here because you're eager to learn and you're eager to rise to the next. So this is something very, very important to remember. So that's also why in high competition, in high level auctions like these, where we are at the 5 level and higher, shape counts more than high card points. Shape counts because it means that either we should be saving against them, or we are the ones who can make something because we have shape, even though we don't have the points. Often the points are sort of evenly divided, a little bit like in this example right here, but you can both make so much because you are so unbalanced. So let's go through this hand, okay? So you can see, so 1 spade, and now North bids 3 diamonds, which I think is excellent. Here it makes a lot of sense. And now East chooses to bid 4 diamonds. So she has an extremely good hand and wants to create a game force. Now, often here you can play fit jumps, but 4 of a major should always be to play. But let's say that if North had overcalled 2 diamonds instead, and East could bid 4 clubs, that should show clubs and spades. I don't know how many of you play fit jumps, but that's a very useful tool, okay? So here, East made a game force by bidding 4 diamonds. Remember, as soon as East bids 4 diamonds, now you are in a forcing situation, which means that if the opponent's bid, if North-South bid here at the 5 level, you cannot pass it out. Either you need to make a penalty double or you need to bid again. And this is also important to be aware of when we are playing highly competitive bidding, like at the 5 level and above. We need to know when are we in a forcing situation and when are we not. So my general rule is, especially when we're unbalanced, we are only in a forcing situation if we have created a game force, like here. Let's say that East had just bid 4 spades. If East just bids 4 spades, then it's not a forcing auction, because even though East bids a game, East could just be weak with 4 spades. East could have the same hand as now, but without the ace of hearts and without the king of clubs even, okay? So it's very important to know when are we in a forcing auction, because then, like here, now South bids 5 diamonds. Here, West passes, and that should be encouraging to bid and saying, I don't want to defend. I might want to be at the 5 level, okay? So, because, and the funny thing is that West here might even be worried that North-South can make their contract, because she has very bad defense, 6 spades, her partner has a good fit, and she has the king doubleton of diamonds on side. She might even be worried that they can make 5 diamonds. So she's very interested in bidding. Here, she now passes, encouraging her partner to bid. Now East, Nihal Matrachi, I don't know how to pronounce the names. We try. Matrazi. Who knows? Anyway, now she decides to bid 5 hearts, which is again another example, as we discussed earlier, as I showed you on a previous board, that sometimes you also need to prepare for if opponents bid one more time, okay? So here she bids 5 diamonds, 5 hearts, to show where her values are. And also it should not only show values, it should also show a long suit, okay? So here she bids 5 hearts, pass, and her partner bids 5 spades. Now I see a comment here from Kalanit Weisblum, who says that she came in with the south hand bidding 5 clubs. And I want to say I looked for a table where they both bid hearts and spades in one direction and diamonds and clubs in the other direction, because I do agree 5 clubs is the correct bid here with the south hand, because you have 3 little diamonds. You have diamond support for sure, but now you bid 5 clubs. First of all, it's lead directing, because if your partner shouldn't be leading a diamond, usually you have at least 10 diamonds here between you. You might not always, partner can have 6, but still, you really want a club lead as an alternative lead. Then you can play a diamond through, for example, like here, where we actually need to play through the king of diamonds. So 5 clubs is an excellent bid. Well done to all who found this bid, okay? Of course, there is a risk because that partner might pass it, but here, when partner has already shown a diamond suit, if partner does not have a club fit, then she might repeat her diamonds, and then South will usually again have a fit. But here the important thing is that if you bid 5 clubs in the South hand, then North can see that North has 0 defense, and 3 clubs in your club suit, yeah? So now I think that had South bid 5 clubs, then over 5 spades, I think that North should actually even bid 6 clubs maybe, or 6 diamonds, just one of the two. Another option is to bid 5 no trump with the North hand. If you bid 5 no trump on this auction, if South had bid 5 clubs, then 5 no trump should say pick a minor, exactly like when 4 no trump does. So here we go again. Okay, I will now try. I see that I have some questions. I'll try to respond to them. So one question is, how should the bidding go after 2 spades opening by West? I did see that a lot of people opened either 2 spades or 2 diamonds multi. So I think personally that the North hand is worth a 3 diamond overcall, because the suit is so good, especially after 2 diamonds multi, because that also takes away space from the opponents. You're not worried that you'll get a penalty, that you'll be doubled for penalty. However, of course, there is a risk that South again will take you seriously and bid 3 no trump. But South should not do that unless South has a very good hand. Then you can always see what you're going to do if you're going to pull it. But 3 diamonds, I think, is reasonable. But passing is also very understandable with the North hand. So if it goes, for example, 2 spades, pass, that then somebody said that it went 4 diamonds, for example, by East. So now this is really not easy, right? But it would be great if South had the courage to enter the auction at the 5 level, but it really is hard. Okay, I can see that you said that it went 2 spades by West, pass, 4 diamonds, 5 clubs. That's excellent that you dared to bid that much. Yes. Yeah, very good. Okay. Okay, so the problem is that I saw so many different auctions on this board. I cannot advise you how all of them should go, but the general advice, because the thing is, talking about one specific hand won't help us in the long run, because there's always a new bridge hand and all hands are different. What is important is to find general cues, hints, how do we help each other? So fit showing bits is one thing, like 5 clubs would be here. Finding double fits is something really, really important too. I will see, because there was another hand where I saw, because as soon as you have a double fit, as soon as you know you have a double fit, you should always bid again if you are in doubt. Bid again, see if you can push the opponents higher. Let's say that the auction went 2 spades and then 3 diamonds. Now here, the key is, if they're going to bid again, what do you do? So 4 diamonds, even though you're opposite a weak opener, then I think 4 diamonds, that should create a force. Okay, even though you're opposite a weak 2 spades, 4 diamonds should create a force. That's why you should bid 4 diamonds instead of 4 spades. Now, 4 diamonds, you are not really going for slam. I mean, it is a possibility opposite a weak 2 spade opener. It really is. But the important thing is that you create a force when the opponents bid at the 5 level, which you almost expect them to do. Now, let's say that South bids 5 clubs. This would be excellent here. South, there is another option, like if you could actually answer me, which I know you can't, then I would ask you, if South is not bidding 5 clubs in this auction, what will the alternative be? If South wants to show North that South has clubs and diamonds, so instead of only clubs, what would the alternative be? That would, of course, be, I need to delete this one. 4 no trump, exactly. So here you can see this is also a great example of showing I have diamond support, but I also have a good club suit. This is especially if, let's say that South only has 5 clubs or 6 clubs and is not comfortable bidding five clubs by herself because she's worried that it might be, that will be passed out by partner with a singleton or something where it's wrong. So here 4 no trump can show this. And it doesn't matter if East has bid 4 spades. 4 no trump here should still be minor suit takeout. That is because there is simply no space, okay? It's always really, really hard to bid a slam when the opponents bid so much, but in the long run, I guarantee you, it's better to show a potential double fit, show where your values are, instead of using 4 no trump for key cards. And now I get a question. How do you know the 4 no trump is clubs and diamonds and not diamonds and hearts? That's a very good question, Mel, because that is actually true. You don't know this for sure, but partner will always make a preference as if you have clubs, as you should always choose as if you have the lowest suits. So here, if partner doesn't have anything in clubs, partner will bid 5 diamonds saying, I want to play in either diamonds or hearts. Let's say if you swap, if you, instead of 3 clubs, give the North hand 3 hearts, and you get a 4 no trump bid from South. Then, of course, with a singleton club, North is no longer interested in playing in clubs. Here, North just bids 5 clubs happily. 5 diamonds would be the bid otherwise. We cannot always know, but it is an option. Now, let's say that, just for fun, if we go back again here, some bids, and let's say that East had bid 3 hearts, right? Now, 4 no trump is clear-cut for the minors. Although here, when there is space, some might play that it should be key card for diamonds. I don't think so. I think in that case, then you must begin by bidding one of the opponent's suits. You bid 3 spades or you bid 4 hearts, showing that you create a game force. And then you can, if you do this, you're already setting diamonds as trumps, and then you can try to see if you can bid 4 trump as key card later on. But often you don't get the space. Let's pretend that 4 hearts was a fit bid. Here, there is a strong case to argue that 4 hearts is a fit bid when it's opposite a hand like this that already has a weak spade hand, but usually 4 major is to play. So it's a very tricky agreement. You need to have an agreement about it. But now, of course, 4 no trump again, clear cut shows the minors. All right. And thank you for asking this question, Mel, because it really is important, because sometimes people don't know that 4 no trump is, sometimes we are pushed. It doesn't have to promise the minors. It can be 2 other suits, but you always pretend that it's both minors in the first, in your first bidding turn as responder. Okay, so this was another one. I will just see. So here, what I tried to point out is that you need to establish that you have a double fit, because as soon as East-West here, North-South, realize that they have a double fit, then they will bid again. And you can actually also see how much they can make. North-South on this layout can make 5 of a minor, and the same way East-West on this layout can make, let me see, they can only make They lose 1 heart, 1 diamond. They can make 4 of a major, but they have a very good save in 5 of a major for only down 1. And it's only because the king of hearts is offside that they can only make, and because look at their wasted values, king doubleton in one hand and king doubleton of minor in the other hand. Those are terribly wasted values. They're completely unnecessary. The shape is what's important. All right. One more board I chose was board 14. Interesting hand. So first of all, the question is, what do you open with the east hand? I saw some of you opened 1 spade. I saw some of you open 3 spades. Somebody opened something maybe showing both majors or something like that. And as you can see here, east opened 4 spades. So it was actually by coincidence that I picked, the board is not on. You can't see the board? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, just checking. Thank you. Okay, so it was actually pure coincidence that I picked this particular board. I wanted to show the board, but this auction. So I really like East's 4 spade opening, and I will tell you why. So when you decide how much you're going to open, there are always 3 general things that you should consider before anything else. Some of you tell you that you have to use that, like the rule of vulnerability with 2, 3, 4, and something about counting losers, all these things. These are all great guidelines. But when we preempt, first thing we look at is vulnerability. Are we vulnerable or are we not vulnerable? Secondly, also, what are the opponents? But first of all, vulnerability, because we bid differently depending on whether we are vulnerable or if we're not vulnerable. This is something you should all discuss with your regular partners. You should discuss your style. When you are not vulnerable, then you should open 3 spades or even 4 spades as often as you can, and open 3 of a major even though you only have a 6-card suit. That is also okay when you are not vulnerable if, and this is the second point when we're talking preempts, suit quality. Suit quality is the most important. If you have a suit that is Queen, Jack, 10, 9, 6 of clubs, it's much better than Ace 7th, okay? Because Ace 7th, you can have all the losers because you're missing the intermediates. Queen, Jack, 10, 9, 6th, you usually only have 2 losers. Also, when you have 6 clubs, missing the Ace King, you don't have any defense. If you have Ace 7th of a suit, sometimes the suit, if you choose to preempt that suit, then it's the same suit where you can lead the ace and give your partner a ruff, which means the opponents can't make anything. So number 1 is vulnerability. Number 2 is suit quality, okay? And number 3 is shape. If you are balanced, like 7-2-2-2, then you bid much less than if you have 7-4-2-0 or 7-5-1-0 as right here, okay? So I like the 4 spade bid a lot for several reasons. First of all, even though East has 5 hearts, this is not one of the situations where we're eager to show our hearts. I mean, if partner has hearts, fine, but that doesn't mean that we want to play in the hearts because we have such a good spade suit. So we are not worried that we won't be able to show our hearts. It's much better. It's like getting the first punch in if we open 4 spades. Then our opponents can take it from there. So also the stiff king of diamonds, it's a stiff, but it's also a king. And stiff kings are good if they're behind the suit, but only if the opponents take a losing finesse. A stiff king is not a great value. It increases the risk that the opponents can make something. So what you do is you get in there right now. When you have 1-0 in the minors, you know almost guaranteed that the opponents will make some sort of minor contract unless your partner has all the points and all the aces and everything. And if your partner really has that hand and you open 4 spades, then maybe partner will ask you some key cards and okay, then you have a void. It's a little tricky. But then if partner really has that hand, you will still get to a slam. It's much better to just bid 4 spades. You might make it, you might not, and the opponents might bid too high. You don't know. So here it went 4 spades, pass, pass. North bid 5 clubs. Of course, you have to. You just have to. So that's an excellent bid. Now it went pass, pass, and now I think West made a very brave decision, but I also really like the decision to bid 5 spades. And the reason I like it is because she doesn't know if she bids it to win it or she bids it because she thinks that the opponents can make 5 clubs. She doesn't know, but she doesn't expect to go down more than maximum 1, depending on what partner has. And she just decides that it's worth the shot, yeah? And that's what I've told you repeatedly. If you are in doubt, then you bid again. Now, North, who bid 5 clubs, now doubled 5 spades. Doubling 5 spades shows I bid 5 clubs because I thought I was making 5 clubs. This now puts South in a terrible, terrible dilemma because South's greatest value is King 4th of clubs. King a 7-card suit. So, which also means that we know that we might not have any tricks in the club suit. So here, this is a case, I mean, I don't think anyone did it and I wouldn't expect you to, but sometimes, and this is again where psychology matters instead of just what can actually make on the hand. Because here, if South bids 6 clubs, even though we can all see it cannot make, you will never get doubled. Well, I doubt it. I mean, maybe West would double, but it's very unlikely. And maybe East would bid again. I think on this auction, East would probably bid again because according to our rules, the more unbalanced we are, the more we should bid, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So South could have considered bidding 6 clubs simply because maybe 5 spades can make, right? If you are worried that the opponent's contracts can make, it doesn't matter whether your contract can make, because then it's a save. It's always a 2-way shot, okay? Good. So here, and now, of course, this was extremely unlucky for North, who has 3 aces, but not a club trick, okay? And so here, if you take a half finesse, then you're going to make 5 spades. And now I'm getting a question, how can South know it's clubs and not diamonds? Well, here it's because they bid 5 clubs, if that's the question that, yeah, because here they didn't bid 4 no trump or something. I'm not sure what the question is, but here they bid 5 clubs. All right. Sometimes when we are very balanced, I will give you a tip, okay? Because many of us have learned that when we have 5-card trump suit and our partner opens 1 major, then we should always bid 4 of a major, even with a weak hand. So this is not true. And this is also not true if we overcall 1 major. If we are vulnerable against not, and we have 5-3-3-2 shape, and our partner opens 1 of a major, we should make whatever raise we can, either a weak 3-bid if we are weak, but not bid 4 with 5-3-3-2 shape. And I will tell you all why. When we are balanced, especially 5-3-3-2, then usually, if the opponents haven't bid a lot and we know that they have a huge fit somewhere, then our partner. So if we just jump to 4 of a major, then sometimes we're just off 5 top losers. We get double, we can go for 500, and the opponents don't make anything. Okay? So when you are balanced, that is not the time to bid. Okay. So this is actually sort of a weird example, yeah? Because I've actually chosen a board where it might make some sense. So it's a bad example, but still, I just wanted to show you the difference. So Here, this was also a hand. A lot of the boards, then you had a double game swing, because on the boards where South opened 4 hearts and it went all pass, then 4 hearts made, and at some of the other tables it went 4 hearts and then East balanced with a double, and then it went 4 spades. So one table made 4 hearts, the other table made 4 spades. If you look at the results, there were many tables where this happened, and that's because both directions can make something. Okay, so here South opens 4 hearts. That's fine. Opening 1 heart and rebidding 4 hearts is also okay. So I think it's fine that West does not double 4 hearts, because West has a 12 count, but a bad 12 count balanced with Queen Doubleton of Hearts. So West should leave it to East to balance if they should be competing over 4 hearts. West has terrible defense. Okay, so now it went pass, pass. And now we said, you know what, I should probably, yes, West should double 1 heart. That's a good question, Bridget. West should definitely double 1 heart. I always say, get in quickly, get out quickly. Okay, double 1 heart, get it over with at this vulnerability. You have 4 spades, show them. Good. Okay, so here I should probably have shown you only the East hand, but I'm sure that you can all just look at the East hand. So if it goes 4 hearts, pass, pass to you. Now, what do you bid with the East hand? Looking at only the East hand, yeah? So here you should always compete. You have to. Partner could have either a penalty of 4 hearts. Somebody asks me about 3 hearts opening. 3 hearts opening, West should still pass, I think. West should still pass. If East, that is also why it's very important that it's also 4th seed who should balance, which is also why here East should double 4 hearts. Because even East is a little bit worried that partner will pass it with 4, not very good hearts, like Jack 10 4th or something. So maybe over 3 hearts, East could consider bidding 3 spades instead. Okay, so all these are different examples. Let's say that it goes 3 hearts, yeah, and then pass, pass. And now East could consider bidding 3 spades if you're worried. The suit quality is not very good though, but you have sort of a minimum. But that depends on what kind of hand partner has. So I think that double is best in the long run. But if you give the East hand a slightly better spade suit, then I would actually bid 3 spades with the East hand, because when I have a void, unless partner has something like King, Queen, 4th in hearts and nothing in spades, then usually we should play our own contract instead. Partner needs to have very good hearts for it to be correct for us to defend when I have a 5-5 hand, yeah? And some may play that over 3 hearts. That is also, I can show you. I don't know how many of you play it, but it's called, maybe many of you know about leaping Michaels, and 4 clubs is what we call non-leaping Michaels. So if East bids 4 clubs, it shows clubs and the other major. So here, clubs and spades. The problem is that East is not quite good enough to bid like this, because East it's basically forcing us to 4 spades. So in 4th seed, East can be lighter. But for example, in direct seed, East is not good enough to use leaping Michaels with this hand. The suit quality is not very good. And the spade suit, you have 5 of them, but 5 little. And you have some aces that might be defense. Okay, so now I get the comment. If you need at least 15 points for leaping Michaels. No. Never ever count high card points when you are unbalanced. So I really like the question. I appreciate it very much, Kalanit. Very good question. First of all, there is also the question if it goes Let me just do that first. 3 hearts pass, 4 hearts. Should East double as well? Yes, most definitely. Never be scared. Double as well. Always double or always bid when you're in doubt with unbalanced hands. Okay, so no, you do not need 15 points for Leaping Michaels. What you need is shape and extra trump length. If you have 5-5, then all your points should be in your long suits. Don't have values like king third of a side suit, or especially king doubleton or something. That's completely useless. Yeah? Yes, Bridget, in fourth seat with shortage, then you should double a 4-level opening. You should even do it with sometimes even with a passed hand and shape. Let's say that you, with the East hand here, if you remove the Jack of clubs, so you only have a 10 count, you should still double. In fourth seed, we need less to double, but that also means that partners should remember that a double in fourth seed is really a takeout double, okay? I'm also getting the question, why should West not double 3 hearts? That's because the West hand is not good enough to force partner to the 3 level. If partner doesn't have a spade fit, partner has to bid 4 clubs. If you try giving your partner the North hand instead, okay? So pretend that instead of the East hand, you are West, you double 3 hearts, and then you give your partner as East the North hand. 4-3-3 with Jack 9 fourth of hearts, right? Then partner has an impossible bid. Partner can only bid a 3-card suit or choose to pass 3 hearts doubled, which is very unpleasant because nobody likes if the opponents make a double part score, okay? Good, okay. So let me just get back to this thing about how many points you need for Leaping Michaels. So the longer your suits are, the more you bid. And especially, again, if we go back to my point from before, suit quality matters so much more. So here the problem is that our suit quality is very bad. Ace 9 8 fifth of spades is a terrible suit quality. It's only good because partner has king queen fourth. Queen Jack 9 fifth of clubs is actually it's much better than the Ace 9 8 fifth of spades, because the Ace of spades is worth 4 points, but it's only 1 card, 1 trick. The others can have king queen Jack 10. Yeah. Here, the Queen Jack 9 fifth, at least we have some other chances, even though we're missing a lot of the honors. But it's actually better because it's better to have 3 of the top 5 honors than to have only 2 as the Ace 9 here. You should really count the 10s and 9s also when you talk about suit quality. It's not only about the high card points. 10s and 9s are extremely important in suit quality. So for Leaping Michaels, if you have 6-6, I almost don't care how many points you have, you bid, okay? You just bid. If you have 7-6, you bid, even if you're vulnerable against nut with a 5 count. Okay, maybe that's a little exaggerated. You need to have some good suit quality. But the point is, you really must bid. The more unbalanced you are, the more you must bid. Don't count high card points. Just for fun, let's just bring up this board here. So here, some of you got doubled in a diamond contract, yeah? And what is the problem here? The problem is that our diamond suit is very bad. Here, it's a very good example of a bad suit, okay? And now, since we take this up, then I think that this is also actually also quite a good example of a different bid we maybe could make. So if we want to bid here with the East hand, we could maybe consider bidding for no trump, or we could just consider doubling. The problem is that maybe we don't really want partner to pass it, but partner probably wouldn't have here. Partner might bid. But look at the diamond suit. It's, even though we have a 9-card fit, we have 2 top losers in the suit, right? So that is a problem. I will try to find other examples. So let's see how it went here. So this is actually also interesting in terms of style. So here East opens 1 diamond. Now South goes in with 2 diamonds. A lot of people play that it shows at least 5-5. I also like to play that way. However, in this vulnerability, if you're ever going to bid like this, then it should be here, okay? And now West has an interesting hand because West is very unbalanced, but West has low honors, queens and jacks and kings. West does not have aces. And that is actually one of the problems with this contract and one of the reasons that East-West cannot make a slam. Because when you look, you know, you have 7 diamonds, you have 11 card diamond fit, you have a heart void, you have all these, but you're missing the aces, okay? So when you bid at high level, then you also need to have not low honors. For example, if you're in doubt, should we be in 5 of a minor or should we be in 3 no trump? If you have aces and kings, then it's more likely you should be in a suit contract. If you have queens and jacks, they're meant for no trump. Obviously, you cannot play no trump with a void here. So you have a difficult bid. I actually quite like 5 diamonds. The alternative is, of course, to double, but you're vulnerable against not because you have spades and maybe partner has hearts. But 5 diamonds is not a strong bid. It just says that that I want to play 5 diamonds. It's a little aggressive with only 4 of them, but we don't know East-West's opening style. So I'm going to repeat my points about how to bid at high level. When we get to the 4 level and above, then we should always bid again if we are in doubt. And that's because we all tend to be too passive, okay? And when I say bid again, I don't mean double. I mean bid again if you are unbalanced and in doubt. And why is that? There are several options. Sometimes you don't know who can make what. Maybe you can make, maybe the opponents can make. So maybe you're saving, maybe you're not. Especially if you are not vulnerable. Sometimes if you're not vulnerable, then the opponents, you may have bid 5 hearts, the opponents bid 5 spades. They're vulnerable, you're not. And then you don't know if they can make 5 spades or not, you're not really sure. But even if you bid 6 hearts and you go for minus 500, if the opponents can make 620 or 650 and 5 spades, it's actually still a good save anyway. So if you're in doubt, bid again, especially if you're favorable. But if you have a very good hand and you're vulnerable against not, the same thing actually applies if you are unbalanced. Remember, that's always the key. Are you unbalanced or do you have a double fit? Okay. If you do, then you should bid again because maybe the opponents will take an extra save. Okay. And then you don't have to worry about it. Then you just double. Okay. So the more unbalanced you are, the more you bid. Don't count high card points, count double fit, count shape, count trump suit quality, okay? So, and also, if you are not sure whether you're doing the right thing, keep your poker face, okay? Keep your poker face. Just sit there, pretend like you've got it completely under control, bid 6 spades like you mean it, let the opponents take it from there, okay? Sometimes you don't even get doubled. Do it very convincingly. All right. Now, I think that we have reached the end of this. I want to thank so many of you for being here for such a long time. I mean, I have to say, normally I'm quite good at talking, but I've felt quite lonely talking to myself for so long. And my son, he would probably say, "Mom, stop yelling. They can hear you anyway." But, you know, and it's been my pleasure. And I really hope that you benefited a lot from it. I hope that you learned something that you will take on. And I also want to say, I think it's such a pleasure that so many of you are participating in these training sessions. I think it looks like it's been a massive success. And I hope that you will continue this because we need more women in the bridge world. I mean, who else are going to beat the men, right? Take care, and thank you so much for now, everyone. Okay, bye-bye.